We'll be starting the session in a while, probably 2 to 3 minutes. Another 2 minutes and then we'll begin. I think we can begin now. So, hi all. Thank you for joining this
This
session.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So, my name is Mahima, and I'll be your host for the session. Before we begin, I would request you all to go on mute, and if you have any queries, you can use the chat box or just unmute yourself and ask. Okay, I would also request you not to turn on your video cameras during the session. Let me quickly take you through Techcanvass first. We are an IT certification training organization. We help professionals clear their certification exams in the first attempt. We are IIB endorsed and PMI authorized training partners. We offer certification trainings for courses like CBAP, ECBA, CCBA, Agile, Business Data Analysis, PMP, CAPM, and more. Oh, all right. Talking about today's session, it is quite helpful for those who are interested in the project management domain. We have with us Anusha, who is a seasoned professional. So, over to you, Anusha. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you, Prema. All right, welcome, guys. I'm Anusha, and just to give you a bit of an introduction, I carry an experience of close to 7 years with different IT giants. I'm currently working as a senior program manager in one of the IT company. I'm also PMP, CAPM, ITIL, ISM, and CSM certified. So without wasting time, I am just going to quickly share the screen and start with today's session. All right. Okay. So today's session is all about getting into project management domain, as in who all can get into project management domain. What is the skill set which is required to get into project management domain, and what is that we need to do. So first of all, let's understand what is project management and what we are going to cover in this session today. So, majorly in this session, we are going to cover what is the skill set which is required to be a project manager, what basically is a project management domain. Then, if you are a project manager, why project manager, and launching a career in project management. So when we all hear project management, it was normally into the lines of somebody who's hardworking, making sure that everything is in place, and not just that, cross communicating between the different teams, making sure that everything happens from initiation phase to closure. This is what we hear when it comes to project manager. So this is exactly what a project manager does. In a layman terms, a project manager is a bridge between the client and the internal teams. And that bridge is not just used for communication, that bridge is also used for requirement gathering, for any incident or any escalation, also communication, and also if there's any feedback. So that bridge is used in various manners. And when you see that bridge, one side of that bridge has client and the other side has different teams, different internal teams. It can be your technical team, it can be your legal team, it can be your team which is only taking care of, let's say, logistic. So project managers and why project management. So generally, when you look into a project manager, the first thing you see is, as I said, the gap or the bridge between the bridge between the client and the internal team. So why do we act as a bridge? If I'm a project manager, why do I need to act as a bridge? So it is nothing but to define the objective and goals for each project. So I should be the one taking care of the objectives and the goals of the project which I'm supposed to work on. Similarly, I will be the one taking care of the requirements. And not just that, I will be the one taking care of the quality of work, the scope, and making sure that the work is done in the required timeline, in the required cost, in the required scope. So that is why project managers. Now, when you see project managers, the second question is why project management as a domain. So I tell you why project management as a domain. You know what? Understanding different set of folks. Guys, can you please be on mute if not already? Yes. Coming back to different set of folks. A project manager is the one who's going to communicate between, starting from 5 stakeholders to 7 stakeholders to 228 stakeholders and some random numbers. So you guys will be the one taking care of the communication between different set of stakeholders. So that is the biggest challenge. So why project management? Because it gives you an overview of how to deal with people around you. And it is going to help you in every sector, in every job. You need to know how to deal with people around you. Also, the second reason why project management is, it gives you opportunity in different areas within a company. So a project manager is not domain wise, a project manager is not organization wise. You can be a project manager in IT sector, can be a project manager in health or pharma, or can be a project manager in, let's say, aeronautical or oil and gas. So you are not restricted with a particular domain. Like in terms of when you see technical folks, if somebody has learned a set of language, they are only restricted to that language. But a project manager has a broad spectrum when it comes to getting opportunities in different sector or in different domains in a company. Now, the third reason why project manager is, you will be the sole decision maker in your project. So a project manager is the one who is the decision maker in a project, getting inputs from sponsors, getting input from the client, getting input from the solution architect, technical team, legal team, but you will be the one making the decisions. And last point, which is the most important one, it pays you well. Project management job pays you well. So this is how a project manager works, and this is why we need project management as a designation or as a job. Moving on to launching a career in PM role. So now, if somebody wants to launch his or her career in project management, it basically depends upon what you want to do and how do you want to achieve that. So to start with, the first step should be, you need to choose the right training provider, the right study material, and the right path to become a project manager. I'll get back to you with this last line, the right path. So you need to have a proper training material, training provider, and you should have a proper environment to become a project manager. When I say environment, you don't expect to join an organization as a business analyst and then end up doing a project management job. No, that's not how it works. If you want to be a project manager, you need to know certain jargons. You need to understand certain steps, how a project manager works on a particular project. And that's when you can get into an organization. Now, second step is, there are certain set of project management exams. For example, CAPM, PMP. So all these exams, you need to practice for these exams and try giving the certification so that you have something to say, plus you have a path in hand. If you are not certified, or if you do not have the required knowledge of this domain, then it becomes a little I'm not saying it's impossible, but there is a set of difficulty that comes into the picture. Moving on to the third option. Upon achieving this certification, if there's a set of certification that you have got, you can start applying for jobs. Now, when I say set of certification, PMP, you cannot apply because PMP, you need to have an experience of close to 5 years. CAPM also requires a set of, experience, but you can at least start understanding the project management role and start giving interviews so that you can end up getting a project coordinator or a project manager role first, or an analyst, I would say, not a project manager, analyst role. And then you can define your career that way. Now, what should we expect as a project manager? So, as a project manager, as I said, you should be the bridge between the client and the internal team. Also, the best thing about project management domain is that you will keep on learning throughout your profession. So there will be some or the other things you will keep on learning in the project management domain. So there's no way you can skip the learning part. Every day there will be a learning if you are a project manager, be it dealing with the clients, be it dealing with the stakeholders, be it understanding how a project should work. And trust me, guys, when I say this, every project is unique in its own way. There will be a project where you will be focusing on stakeholder management, and then there will be a next project you will be focusing on risk completely. So that is how it works. The learning is throughout your career. Secondly, most of the project, as I said, is going to be unique and it will carry its own set of challenges. Now, when you have challenges, there will be no way every challenge will expect a similar kind of action. So, you have to brainstorm every time you come across a challenge. That is why project management. And thirdly, you will get the opportunity to collaborate and work closely with people around you. Project management is that single domain which gives you a better picture or a clear picture around networking. So basically, it's just not understanding the stakeholders, it's also networking around the domain or around the organization for that matter. Now, who can try for a project management domain? How do you get inside a project management domain? What exactly needs to be done? So who can try? Anyone. Anyone who wishes to be a project manager can try to become a project manager. Now, what do you need? You need nothing but if you're starting your career as a project manager, as a fresher, then you need a bit of knowledge around how the project manager works. What are the different set of jargons? What is the skill set? When I say skill set, it is more into the lines of how a project manager works on a particular project. Maybe what is a project? How do we take care of a project? These simple things you should be knowing about. That's when you get into project management domain. Now, how do you get into that? Very simple. Understand how a project manager works. Make sure that you understand the kind of job, roles, and responsibility a project manager has to go through. Maybe starting from understanding the communication between the stakeholders. So anyone can be a project manager. So the different set of jobs which a fresher or a person whose experience can get into. To start with, first is project coordinator. So project coordinators are something which is perfect for those who are starting their career in the industry. So project coordinators are nothing but people who are assisting project managers. So they gain the hands-on experience while working with the project managers, and they can probably start their career as a project coordinator and end up becoming a project manager, then program manager, then senior program manager, and so on and on and on. There's also project managers. If you are an experienced folk, you can directly apply for a project manager role. But to get into a project manager role, effectively, and I'm assuming that you have some amount of experience, you have to go through some set of certifications, which can be CAPM or PMP, depending upon the number of years of experience you have. Now, there are also program managers. When I say program managers, these are the people who are taking care of the project managers. So project manager reports to them. They are the ones who are making sure that every project in a business is in place. And you can also opt for a business analyst role to start your career with, so that you have a bit of an idea of how things work in project management. I'm not saying business analyst is equivalent to project manager or project analyst or project coordinator. No, it's not that. But business analyst being a designation which gives you, a bit of, let's say, 20% of understanding of how things work in a project. So you will have something to say in an interview. So that's why anybody and anyone can become a project manager. All right. Now we are going to look into the outlook of the project management industry. What exactly is happening right now? So currently we have 16.5 million project managers. I mean, guys, just understand that's too much. So that means we have a lot of people in this industry, and this industry is something which is fulfilling. And by the end of 2026, which is just assuming 2022 is almost ending, in 3 years, we are expecting 9.81 billion. Okay. And also, when we look into project management, we see a lot of practices in the project management domain. To start with, what are the software that needs to be used, how the particular organization works on a project, all of that. So a project manager is somebody who's going to take care of a project, and it can be in the hybrid model, or it can be in the form of just, I'm about to use the project management jargons. I'm about to use the project manager management jargons. It can be using hybrid model, it can be using waterfall, it can be using agile, it can be using anything when you're working on a project. Also, the standardized project management practices are used to some extent by 93% of organizations. So you have the job opportunity in at least 93% of the organizations. And if you guys are project management aspirants, the first thing you should be knowing is risk management, because that's the most popular practice. So most of the project managers use risk management as a practice on all their projects. And just to give you an overview so that you can be good in terms of your interview, Jira is currently the tool which is used as a project management tool currently in the project management industry. So that is it. Any questions, guys? Guys, any questions?
Guys, you can ask your questions to Anusha or you can drop them in the chat box also.
So, assuming all of you are, aspirants of maybe a certification, or you guys want to become a project manager, do you guys have any set of questions when you want to understand few things around this particular domain?
Okay, thank you so much, Mohan. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, okay. Just a little clarification. But first of all, I would say the presentation was quite fantastic. I mean, it gave me insights to give me answers to a whole lot of questions I wanted to ask on project management. Thank you for that. But I just wanted to find out, like in a team setting, right? Looking at Agile, for instance, you have a product owner who is the voice of the customer in the team, all right, who understands what the customer wants and stuff like that. So when you say the project manager is the bridge, right, between the I think you said the team and the customers. I was just trying to differentiate that role from a product owner's role. I know they are quite different, but I'm just trying to ask, does it mean that a product owner stands a better chance to succeed as a project manager since that interaction is a bit similar?
No. So here's the difference.
Okay.
When you say a product owner, so basically their role is to maximize the value of the product. That's it. The role ends there. But when you say project manager, a project manager is going to maximize the value of the project. Now that project can have certain set of products in it. So in layman terms, a project manager, I would say a product owner, that's not a technically correct statement, but a product owner is a subset of a project manager. Look at it into the way that if I am a project manager, I will have certain set of products who will be delivered. So my role will be to make sure that the daily, day-to-day basis and the day-to-day activities of the project is done. But a product owner will be only taking care of that particular product which is about to get delivered. Also, if you are a product owner in terms of, let's say, I'm just taking it in the Scrum framework. Mm-hmm. The way of the product owner is that it continuously makes choices about the build or what not to be built in a product. But as a project manager, my thought process will be taking care of each and every decision that is related to that particular project. So I will be the one creating and managing the business. I will be the one making sure that the scope, time, and budget is in timeline. I will be the one making sure that tracking is done, the quality is in place for a particular project. While if that project has, let's say, 4 products in it, just giving an example in layman terms for you guys to understand, the product owner will be taking care of just the product delivery part. Decision making will be in terms of product only. Was that clear for you?
Yeah, that was quite clear. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anusha, there's a question in the chat box.
Yes. I'm sorry, I can't see that.
Okay, someone is asking how many years of experience do I need to become a project manager?
For a project manager, you need a certain set of experience. I would say at least 3 or 4 years. at least. But to become a project coordinator, which is the analyst role, you need not to have a certain set of experience. Because when I say project coordinators, as I said, these are the people who are going to shadow the project managers and gain the knowledge and experience to become project managers. So if it is the starting of your career, I think project coordinator or an analyst in project management is a role for you. I think I answered the question. All right.
If anybody else has any questions, you can ask them.
Guys, any question around what do we need to become a project manager? I mean, we do not need anything apart from just knowledge around the project management domain. Anything you guys want to answer? I mean, ask. I'm sorry. Any set of certifications you guys are willing to give if you want to ask some questions around that? All righty, Mema, I think I'm good since we do not have any questions.
Okay, then we are good to wrap up. Thank you, Anusha. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
The recording has stopped.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anusha.